Don't get it twisted. Supplying to WFP can bankrupt you in a heartbeat. When I first started attending conferences and meetings on food security as an African woman grain trader, one of the first comments I kept on hearing was, "You should supply to WFP." It's a common song amongst grain traders. Every time I introduce myself to a WFP official as a grain trader, the first question is, "Do you supply to WFP?" And my response is, never. This is usually followed by a shocked "why?" And I normally respond, because I don't want to bankrupt myself. The consequences of the performance bond placed on WFP suppliers is something no one ever wants to speak about. That, along with the bureaucratic payment process, which some have told me may require a flight to their regional offices, is something many traders may be oblivious to. I have known this for many years, but I have been quiet because I was afraid. Unfortunately, I am seeing more and more institutions pushing women in agribusiness towards this, oblivious of the risk of bankruptcy placed on many African women entrepreneurs. One instance was in a meeting with Brazilian importers in Kenya. My "hell no, never" comment was a shocker to my WFP acquaintance. When asked why, my bankruptcy response was followed by a mischievous smile. I'm sure he was wondering, who is this short woman who dares tell a UN agency no? Unfortunately, his curiosity about how I seem to know so much about his organization procurement challenges got the better of him. Finally, he admitted it was true and went on to tell me that there were a number of bankrupt, over-ambitious entrepreneurs in Nairobi who probably wished him dead because of the millions they had lost in WFP's performance bond. I, however, had to agree with him. It was in the contract. The organization could do nothing about it. While I fully understand that WFP is an emergency response institution that has deadlines and standards to meet, I wish they would take the time to paint a very clear picture of the consequences attached to their performance bonds. Many of these suppliers reach out to me desperately trying to fulfill the WFP contract. Unfortunately, by that time, the price of the commodity has more than doubled because they did not understand the trade patterns. Secondly, the commodity is simply not available, and what is there is old stock that will not meet WFP standards. So I have had to quietly watch as many of them lose their performance bonds, eventually failing in business. See, Africa, especially Kenya, is full of entrepreneurs, ambitious young men and women who are consumed with the desire and passion of the possibilities of becoming millionaires overnight. The inspiring and motivational presentations by development partners have not helped the situation either. I cannot blame them because their agenda is normally how to get more African traders, especially women and youth, to access markets. The unfortunate thing is those setting the agenda have never really traded, nor experienced the threats of creditors and auctioneers, or the trauma of losing a performance bond worth millions, which has bankrupted very many women traders and a number of large value addition companies, leading to broken family relationships between parents and children, as well as broken marriages. This is not fiction, but actual life stories. A case in point is a young man who, to take his family business to the next level, decided to apply for a WFP tender in the provision of beans, a supply and value chain he absolutely knew nothing about. After all, how hard can it be to sell red kidney beans? So he Googled, he researched, and found the price of beans. Then, in a bid to outbid everyone, he quoted a much lower price offer. What the young man did not know is that there are factors such as grades and standards and expectations, not to mention changing market dynamics, that make the price and availability of specific beans impossible. When he called me, the market price of the bean had shot up, not to mention there was a huge shortage of the particular bean he wanted. In the end, the young man cost his father's business millions of Kenya shillings. The bank took their interest and their fees off this performance bond, then remitted the rest of the money to WFP, who proceeded to find another supplier. I have closely watched the company trying to recover and maintain their market position. Unfortunately, their competitors have taken a huge chunk of their market share, and every time I see the brand, I cannot help but wonder what happened to the young man's relationship with his father. See, this is not the sort of stuff anyone wants to talk about. As traders, we tell such stories in conversations when forging business partnerships, not held in grand hotel conferences, but while sitting on sacks of beans, lamenting as well as rejoicing on how well the mass market continues to do. See, the beauty of the Kadogo economy, what we call Kenya's mass market, is we know stuff that is never published or talked about. See, while many professionals choose to label us as the informal sector, the truth is we are the movers and shakers of the mass market. China discovered that and has been quick to finance and provide logistical services to the small and micro entrepreneurs. And that's why when you visit the sector, you find that it's doing very well. I personally know 2 other women within Africa's regional trade who have suffered the same fate as the young man. The shame of such level of bankruptcy and reputation is not something to talk about or share with the public. However, someone must speak up. I choose to speak about it because I believe in building legacy African businesses, and that is why I've decided to launch my Legacy 2063 Reseller Repositioning and Distribution Program. My goal is to simply take individual Africans who want to grow their businesses long term. The program is not a quick get-rich scheme. I am looking for individuals I can simply reposition and help grow their businesses to serve our global clients in long-term repeat businesses in various capacities within Africa's agricultural markets. Capacity building, education, motivation, and inspiration are all good. Unfortunately, at some point, an individual has to decide they have gathered enough information, then begin to implement. Running a business requires hard work, endurance, and determination, which unfortunately is not sustained by motivation and inspiration. I believe in leveraging individuals' resources such as lands, giftings, passions, and talent to get them through when things are tough or even when the money is gone. Our resources have a way of reminding us how gifted and how talented we are, and they will spur us to get up and to use what we have. I have seen so many people all over Africa jump into agricultural trade businesses they know absolutely nothing about except what they saw in a presentation or social media. That is why I want to work with you. That is why I want to help you to avoid this fate, because I want to teach you, I want to position you, I want to guide you and place you in a place where you will be able to do business long term and make money for yourself. This is sustainable. It's not donor funded. It is sustainable. It's a big headache trying to find suppliers each and every time. If I can find suppliers that I'm able to mold to be able to maintain the standards and the expectations that I have from my clients, then there's no need for me to go looking for other suppliers. So I'm just looking for a handful of individuals who I can work with and strategically position them so that they can earn more money